What is happening, everybody, man? It is the next day, and it is not the next day we thought we would have. Even if you picked Alabama, me, to win the football game, you just saw hope. Like you saw Tennessee do what Tennessee typically does in big games. You saw us come out. Joe Milton has literally the best game I think he's had in a Tennessee uniform other than the Orange Bowl. 28 for 41, 275, 2 scores. You can't really be mad at him. And I'm going to say this at the top of the show. If anybody is blaming Joe Milton for this loss, we got some issues. That is the craziest thing I could possibly say because he strictly had his best game as of all. Like legitimately had his best game as of all. And hopefully he can build on this. What does Tennessee have to play for? I'm still hearing a lot of Nico talk. We'll talk about Nico. We'll talk about the potential. We'll talk about what could possibly happen. I got the boy Dylan Elam on, man, who is a member of the channel. He's going to come on with me. The boy Turn is having a little family day. And we're going to bring Stephen Cawley on, man. We're going to bring him on and let him talk about the football game from an Alabama perspective. I just can't wait for y'all to listen to this. As bad as it may have been, Tennessee still has no excuse for being shut out in the second half and allowing 20 you had 21 unanswered touchdowns on the offensive side of the football, and then you give up one just strip sack to the crib. And so you 27 unanswered. It's just really hard to say that anything else was an issue. Was it? We'll talk all about it, man. Welcome to the next day. But can I tell y'all, we get to beat up on some kitty cats this week. And that's the biggest thing that I can't wait to talk about a little later. Welcome to Straight Up Tennessee today on this Sunday, man. It is the next day.
From 40, on the way, a knuckleball. He got it!
What's happening, everybody, man? Welcome to Straight Up Tennessee today on this Sunday, man. It's the next day, Alabama edition. Oh, man, I don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook tonight, man. Y'all know we stream the next day over on Facebook. Shout out to you guys watching. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, we're glad you're rocking with us, too. It's Monday for you. This is the replay for you. So go ahead and continue to rate us 5 stars and let people know why they need to be rocking with the boys over here at Straight Up Tennessee. Like I told y'all, man, big show tonight. Got the boy Dylan with us, man. We're going to bring him on here in literally just a second. Then we're going to bring Steven back on, and we're going to talk through this football game from both perspectives for just a little bit. And then, man, we're going to dive more into this game and then look ahead to the Kentucky Wildcats, man. I want to say this to start the show. Kentucky does not deserve another night home game, period. Why are we playing them at 7 p.m.? That blows my mind. Like, after how bad they've been losing, how do they deserve another night? I don't get it. But anyways, that's to be told. The last time we went up to Lexington was also at night, and we stole one from them there, and I don't know what it is. I feel like this is how Alabama fans feel for the last probably 16, 17 years about Tennessee. It's like, I don't really care. Like, we're going to win that game. You know, like that's how we feel about Kentucky. It's Kentucky, bro. Like, it's Kentucky. That's the best way it's Kentucky. Nobody cares about Kentucky. They start off every year 5-0, and then what happens? Fall off the side of the earth every single year. And they still keeping Stoops, so keep him, please. I want him to stay because we do it to him every year. So, man, it's going to be fun, though, man. I'm going to bring on that boy Dylan, man. Dylan, what's up, man?
What's going on, bro?
Man, just hurts, man. Today it hurts.
Yeah, you ain't lying, man. It sucks. Um, I can't even really find a positive from that second half, dude.
I don't think any of us can. And I
No.
think you know you let's take this from the top for just a second.
Okay.
Tennessee gets the open kickoff. We punt first drive. Wasn't a bad drive per se.
No.
I just felt like, okay, everybody's kind of settling in, trying to get their feet wet. It's one of those games. It's like, all right, you got to kind of sit here and figure this thing out a little bit. Joe Milton makes, I mean, great drive by him. But Alabama gets the football back. And actually, I'm sorry, we scored on that drive.
Yeah.
That was a Squirrel White wheel route that they lined.
Yeah.
How did the again out of position? You got a linebacker guarding the fastest man on the field, and he scores a touchdown. And for some reason, I was watching a couple of different things, and people were like, "He didn't catch the ball. He wasn't in bounds." Can y'all not see? Like,
bro,
he drug his whole leg through the end zone.
He had
and
it.
The ball didn't touch the ground, so it's like. That's a touchdown. And then obviously Alabama gets a football. They punt 3 plays, 3 and out. Then we get the ball back, 3 plays, punt. And then Alabama gets the ball back, 4 plays, punt. Tennessee gets the ball back, 15-play drive that you can't score in the red zone. The red zone woes continue for us. And like we were the number 1 team a year ago scoring in the red zone. And now we are almost dead last in the SEC, 13th right now. You can't really explain that. Like once we get down there, it's just about executing, and we're not. And can I say this right now? Jacob Warren need to be doing calf raises. Dude, 0 bunnies, bro. Like the balls are only where Jacob Warren can get them. And you watch him. He ain't getting a toe off the ground, bro. It's like, come on, Jacob. Come on, Jacob.
To be fair, he did just turn around right when the ball was over his head. So that is a hard catch to make. But
God, I don't care, bro. And it don't help that he's 6'6", bro.
No.
So that means that Joe really either put it really, really high or you really can't jump, bro. Like
he was trying to get it over a linebacker.
And he did. He got it there twice. Yeah. I mean, there was another drive that we ended in there, and it was out route to Dylan Sampson that he threw too far. Like he was like a yard ahead of him.
Fingertip.
That was a touchdown. That was another touchdown
for sure
on the field. So you're telling me that the biggest thing, the separation for me was Tennessee couldn't score in the red zone. If Tennessee put up on that field goal drive of 15 plays, if that was a touchdown, it was 14-0 Alabama. And then Alabama fumbles the next drive. And then we kick another. If we score again, 21-0,
That's just
not sure. That's a wrap. Like,
I'm
pretty sure at that point in the game, it's hard for me to think that they would just. I text Steven, and I'm going to bring him on here in just a second. I text Steven, I was like, listen, it's 20-7. The game ain't over. I said that first. I said the game ain't over, but it's hard for me to believe that Alabama's offense can score this much on Tennessee for the rest of the game.
Right.
Lo and behold, you come out of the second half. One play, Jason McClellan just gashed the defense. You can tell they sent Aaron Beasley on a Mike blitz on the weak side. He got there in the wrong gap.
Yeah.
Jace hits a hole, breaks for about 27 there. And then the very next play is the oblivious hold on Tyler Barron. That's the only thing that I might complain about is how in the world, and I'm gonna bring Steven on here in just a second and ask this same exact question. How does one of the most penalized teams in the country have 1 penalty for 5 yards?
Some home cooking.
And you know what I have to remind myself? We still haven't deserved that yet. Like we had 1 good year. Like this has been years and years of Alabama being who they are, and credits to them. But
sure.
I always have to say, like, we haven't earned that. We haven't earned it yet. And so it's
No.
like, can we continue to put enough together to where people feel like, all right, we're gonna give them a little bit of that same treatment? Because at the
Right.
end of the day, they like Georgia's beatable. And let's say that Georgia and Alabama get to the chip. I really think Alabama can beat them. Like I really do.
For sure.
And what does that do? That gets that Alabama, it gets them back up in that conversation for the college football playoff. But the second half is still inexcusable. Let's bring on that man, Steven. Man, Steven, what's happening, bro? You're feeling great today on a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot better than I did the other night, but I still it's a question mark because I mean, I don't know what happened in the first half, and I also don't know what happened in the second half with Alabama. It's kind of bipolar, but yeah, I'm definitely happy sitting here the day after.
You sit here and you think about just how the game started for Alabama. I think every fan in the stadium, I think every fan watching was like, here we go again. And when you come out of halftime and you score that touchdown quick, how fast the momentum change to me was the story of the game. I think it was just 2 plays, a missed hold, touchdown right there. T-Mac, Tamarion McDonald comes up on the route, slips. Isaiah Bond gets right behind him, touchdown. 2 plays out of the half. You got to feel like, yo, the momentum just like the air was sucked out of Tennessee the rest of the night, literally the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Hold on, I can't hear you. Lift it up. There you go. I can hear you a little bit better, I think.
Okay. But yeah, that's all it took was just those 2 plays, and we were right. And then I also feel like that, you know, if y'all go up 28-7 at halftime, if you score 2 touchdowns instead of the 2 field goals, we're not back. Because I've noticed with Alabama, if the team gets up more than 14, we're done.
Yeah.
And so we kind of had you right there. We wanted you a little bit.
What did you think about? You gotta like what you saw from the running game for Alabama post halftime. I think Tennessee had 132 on the ground. Alabama had 136.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really even back and forth. I want to make sure Tennessee had 133, Bama had 138. So you got to like Jace McClellan touched the ball 27 times and had 115, which that's a lot of carries. So 100 yards, you should probably get 100 when you get the ball that much. 4.3 yards a carry. It's not bad at all. And that run by him that I was talking about out of halftime, that was his longest run of the day at 29 yards. So you got to like, if you're Tennessee, you still got to like defensively what you were able to do. I think the second half was, like I said, it was a momentum shift. And what happened is inexcusable. But at the same time, man, who got paid at halftime? I just need to know. I needed to know who got paid.
I don't know what it was or what happened, or we had a flip switch. And I mean, we got probably 4 calls that were either calls against y'all or no calls like that holding. I mean, it was just we just took advantage. Y'all had no. You've got, I think y'all had 6 drives, and you couldn't put any points up. And I was just hailing a coffin. Not score any points after halftime. Brian did. It's not going to happen.
I think for me, the biggest one is there were 2 drives that were completely blown from calls.
Mm-hmm.
This has never been a fair catch signal, ever. Right. Like, people do this when the ball is like going over their head. They're
Right,
just
right.
and
Let
that's
it
a
go.
signal. That's a signal for the team.
Right.
It's like, hey, y'all look at me, like we good. We ain't getting that.
Right.
Section 8 of the NCAA rule book. Section 8. I literally was like so interested, and I went and looked. It literally says a signal for a fair catch is anything above the waist, above the head, when the hand is waved.
Right.
Y'all been doing this for how many years? Like, that's the stuff that's the only thing for me. Like, that's a drive. It said any time that this happens, it doesn't matter where the player fields the football, it goes to the 25.
Every time.
Right.
Every time. How do we go to the 3? You start to drive at the 3?
If I'm
Bro.
Josh Heupel, bro, I'm telling the whole team, do not go on the field until they put that ball at the 25-yard line. That made me so mad, bro. I was screaming at the TV. Oh, my goodness, dude.
Yeah, I had no – like, I even texted you when that happened. I was like, y'all got hosed on that. I've never seen that. Like, I don't know. I mean,
Steven, this is the second
can't
time.
in that. Yeah.
This is the second time in
with y'all.
2 big games, my man. Listen, Florida on the road, the referee accidentally kicks the football on 4th and 1. When he kicks the football, it becomes a dead ball. But what happens is he kicks the ball. We can't get the football. He gets the football. He walks his little happy self back to the football. Florida subs in their big man package, and they get a stop. This is a drive that's probably going to put that drive's going to put us within 10 points in that Florida football game. When we were struggling the whole night, we finally had some life. It was going to put some life back into Tennessee, and it was like, yo, we could have probably made a game at it because that was like with 10 minutes in the third.
Right.
He kicks the football, allows Florida to sub, and we don't get the 4th down conversion. Meanwhile, fast forward to Alabama. Still, 2 4th and 1s Tennessee doesn't get. I'm at the point where it's like, just stop. We don't have Hendo. Like, we don't have that speed that is just kind of Hendon. Like, bro, we can be in the shotgun with Hendon Hooker. Because guess what? They got to really, 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 really respect him.
Right.
Because Joe can run. We saw it. He ain't slow really either. But the agility needed to get that 1 yard, that acceleration that's needed to get that 1 yard and a read at that point, he's not the right guy for it. And
No.
I hate that like Tennessee a year ago, 4th down was like the money down for us. Every time we went for it, I'm like, oh, cool.
For sure.
We're 3 out of 13 this year on 4th down. 3 of 13. It's time to hang it up, I think. It's like, just chill out.
Sure.
If it's 4th and 1, let's play field position because guess what? That's the other reason, and I want to bring this up and hear your thoughts, Steven. Why in the world, in minus territory for Tennessee, you got to be an Alabama fan has to be watching this like, this is amazing, but this is also pretty stupid because
Laughing at us.
the momentum has shifted.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get it back by getting that 1 yard. I get it. Like, I see it from that way. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, coach. I really do. But you got to have a better play. like
Right.
You're not running it up the middle, bro. Like, and we were dominant, like 133 yards. Like, that's great on the ground against another great defensive line. But at the same time, you're not. Everybody in the world knows what you're about to do.
Right. You've got to, like, while I agree with that call, if you don't execute, then all the momentum goes back to Alabama. And so it was one of those things that kind of reminded me of LSU last year when we played them and Brian Kelly went for 2 and won the game in overtime. And it's like,
but the play was great.
Yeah, but I mean, you should be able to just middle for a yard. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like Tennessee could have got that, and I was like, if I were a Tennessee fan, I'd be wanting them to go for it because you got to. But for whatever reason, it didn't happen, and Alabama was on the line, and it didn't happen.
My
So,
problem with it is we got what, the second or third best defense in the SEC?
at that, as of last night, but I think that moved right down to, I think we're now fourth, which I mean,
Right.
God, once you're in the top 4, top 5 in the SEC, like you nasty, you really like
Right.
that. So it don't matter.
My thing is just trust your defense and get the ball out. Like, I know we're playing for field position and it's Alabama, but if you get it, you're a genius. If you don't get it, you're the biggest dummy on earth.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you even risk it? Just send it off, play defense.
I think the hardest part for me is that it was in minus territory. Like, we're not plus
Right.
side of the field. So in a time in the game where you don't have a lot of momentum, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing for me. It wasn't the call. It was when it was called, because minus territory, both times inside the like high 30s, low 40s. You're giving Jalen Milroe a short field who has literally like he's not a world beater, but he does just enough every game, just enough. And sometimes all you need is just enough. And so that's going to win Alabama just enough games for the rest of the year by him being just enough. I'm telling you it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. If y'all punt it and y'all get it, we get it inside the 5, we're going to run 3 plays and then punt it right back. Because it happened in the fourth quarter when Kool-Aid just let the ball roll down to the 3 or 4 yard line.
Yep.
Couldn't do anything because they don't trust him to throw the ball down there. And so we would have, I still had to lead. I think it was like 2017 at that time. So, I mean, it could have slowed us down and we not score again right after that drive. And kind of shifted that momentum. But it was just, I don't know. I agree with that play call, but it's like you got to execute. You got to have it.
Yeah. I think the thing that wasn't talked about a lot was how, in my opinion, there was only one of the passes that Kool-Aid McKinstry defended was actually like he locked you up. The other ones were pass interference every single time.
Caleb Webb.
Bro. Oh my gosh. How every time Tennessee guards somebody and don't look back for the ball, it's PI.
Bro, that call.
Every single time. Kool-Aid don't look back for the ball once. He did one time. It was great defense. I'm watching that play. I'm like, bro, this dude's going to the NFL. He's going to the NFL anyways.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The other 3 times, you can see it, bro. I wish I had the clip. Oh, I wish I had the clip. You know exactly which one I'm talking about, Dylan. Caleb Webb in the end zone. Joe Milton throws a dot right in the end zone. He pushes Caleb Webb out of bounds, first of all. The second thing was Kool-Aid didn't turn around for the ball. Joe puts it a little bit further in front. He couldn't get to the ball. Kool-Aid turns around and smiles like, dang, they didn't call that? Like, he smiles the camera.
He knew he got away. And the coach was like, you lined up too far out. But, yeah, he just kind of pushed him out of bounds. Like, if you're going to have this wide of a split, I'm like, all right. That's what I'm saying.
Keep in mind,
Kool-Aid's like Saban out there. He knows exactly where everything is on that field.
Keep in mind while that didn't get called, Gabe Judy's little bit of tug on Jermaine Burton on that out route got called.
And that ball was not catchable, bro.
It was not at all, bro.
If that was a hold, then it needs to be called every play on every single player, both sides. It just
hurts.
Yeah.
But Steven, I want to get you kind of just like your final thoughts, man, about where Alabama can potentially go from this. Like, is this a building win? Like, is it the game that you thought like the big win, or is it the one that gets you over the hump? Like, what are you looking for now as you head into a bye week and then time for LSU?
I think it was a great second half. That was the best half we've played all year. And so I think that's great to build on. I'm still a little confused about the team. I think a bye week will do us really well. But LSU's got that crazy offense. And so if we can shut them down and somehow put up more points, then I'll feel like a little bit of old Alabama and we can make a run. But we'll see. I'm still not.
I have a sneaky suspicion, and I don't know if Alabama's offense is necessarily as what's the word? Like as bad as we think. The explosive plays are there. At one point last night, Tennessee had 2 plays of 30 or more, and Alabama had 6. You see what I'm saying? So I think that Alabama's offense is built on the explosive plays, whereas in the last few years, I felt like Bryce last year, it was built on the explosive plays, but Bryce wasn't like throwing it 50 yards down the field. It was like, let me get a 20-yard dig and let my guys just go to work.
It was
like
a setup, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't really like launching the football, and where Milroe just has arm strength out of this world, and the intermediate game, surprisingly, he did well in the intermediate game last night. And you just kind of you look at Alabama, and I think that Alabama and LSU matchup could look a lot like Tennessee did last year. I think it's who has the ball last and who can score the most, to be honest, because LSU's defense is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And I think that's probably what's going to happen. It'll be a shootout, and hopefully our defense can help with them because they probably got the best offense in the SEC and one of the best in the country. And if we can hang with LSU and shut them down just enough, we're not going to shut them out. But
yeah,
if we can play well enough, then that'll probably be the best offense we see all year.
I agree with that. I think it's going to be. I mean, goodness gracious. I feel like Jaden Daniels is playing crazy. Receivers are playing great. They can you're now starting to see them run the football more, which is weird, but it's a weird offense, and they're doing good things, but I still think Alabama at home.
And then you got Tom Reese, so he knows exactly what Brian Kelly's going to call.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he could look at the formations and tell you what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of Saban's signature things is he's going to hire coaches of teams that we're about to play. So, I don't know. We might go out there and beat them. We've done it before.
Who knows? You could.
I doubt it. But
Steven, bro, as always, man, love it when you come on. I hate it that it had to be this way. If it was closer, I probably wouldn't be as mad, to be honest. But, we'll talk about that Alpha Man in just a second. I'll bring that up in just a second. But basketball season's on the way, bro. We'll be bringing you right back on to see what the Crimson Tide do this year, basketball on the court. But until then, bro, we'll still be texting almost every weekend about what the heck's going on in college football. So
sounds good.
My brother. Peace, bro. That is my man, Stephen Cawley. Always love when he joins the show. Always love his opinion. I love how transparent, and I always love how he sees, but like I enjoy people who don't just watch football and they're like, my team won. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I like people who like, man, dude, no, yeah. I ain't never seen that. Where was the fair catch? It's like, man, what in the world? But I want to bring this comment up right here because I think we might sit here for a second. Alpha Man says, what up with number 1 wide receiver? I believe you're talking about Dante Thornton. Man, I hesitate to say this, but I think that we put a little bit too much hype on Dante Thornton. And not that he's not going to be good in this offense, because he has the size, the speed, everything that Josh Heupel desires in the offense. Dante Thornton is, right? It's kind of like the Joe Milton situation. The size, the speed, the arm.
I never put that together.
He's everything that you want.
That's spot on.
But it just I think with Dante's case, as we saw with Jalen Hyatt's sophomore year, Josh Heupel's year one, Hyatt had a horrible year. He couldn't understand the offense. He didn't know what was really going on. He struggled, dropped football. Everybody's like, man, get Jalen Hyatt out of there. But it all clicked in year two. And so I'm hoping that year two for Dante Thornton is vastly different because he don't have to think as much anymore.
Right. I think my idea of it is kind of like Ramel Keaton's situation. Like he's just a little bit anxious because he's from the Pac-12. He don't know what 101,000 sounds like.
No.
So he comes in to Neyland and he hears all these people screaming and yelling. I think he gets a little anxious. And I don't think it's a Joe Milton thing because he dropped a wide open hitch route from Nico too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What game was that? UTSA?
UTSA. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. At least Ramel Keaton figured it out. So,
bro, I was happy to see that. He did have a crucial drop, man, on that one drive. We were driving too, man. We were really driving. The momentum felt like it was shifting back, and then you had that drop on 2nd and long, and it became 3rd and long. And that is just not a good place to be when you are fighting to stay ahead at the time. Because that was when it was 20-17, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And it just hurt. It hurt, man. When he dropped that ball, something inside of me was like, I think that's it.
Yeah, probably, man.
It hurt.
Yeah.
Dylan, let me ask you this, bro. Where does Tennessee go from here? Like, I think that it's safe to say that the SEC championship is not happening.
It's not.
Georgia has to lose twice, and I just don't see that happening.
Not gonna happen unless they drop one to Ole Miss and us. It ain't happening.
And so, I guess the question is, what's next? Like, what does this team play for now? Is it you're trying now to get your seniors more clock so that you can continue to build a program and show that you can get guys to the league? Does Nico see significant snaps here late if Joe does actually start to struggle? What are you thinking here?
I think we take this 1 week at a time. I feel like Kentucky is a very one-dimensional team. You shut down the run, they might not score a point. So I feel like that's an easy win. Missouri is a weird one, man. I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't like that game.
I think if we beat Bama, Go ahead. All right.
Go ahead.
I think if we beat Bama, Missouri immediately becomes a huge trap game. But since we didn't beat them, I feel like we're playing week to week now. I think that we do go down there and take care of business. But it's going to be loud and it's going to be reckless. And we all know how we play on the road. So
we've got – I mean, man, to think about it this way, you got 3 more home games, but it's UConn. You got a big game in Georgia. And you got a really bad team in Vanderbilt. And so 2 of those, you're winning.
Right.
We've not struggled in Kentucky. We've not struggled at Kroger Field. Heck, Tennessee didn't really struggle last night until the second half. And so the Missouri game, to me, I explained it this way. The Missouri game feels a lot like South Carolina 2022.
Very much.
It's just in a weird place in the season. Yeah. Missouri's like sneaky, not bad. Like I know that their record is 6-1, 5-1, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
4 of their 5 wins are against absolute doo-doo teams. Okay,
not good.
Doo-doo teams. So you gotta sit here and say, how good are they? Really? And can Tennessee go down there and do what they did in 2021 and really beat them down and remind them that they're still Missouri?
Right. I think another thing that plays a part in it is they played us really good in the first half of last year.
Yes.
At the same time, I think that's when we were coming off the Georgia loss, though. so that might have had something to do with it because we turned it on in the second half.
Yes, we did.
I don't know, man.
It hurts, bro. Like it really
does.
it hurts, man, because you just know that that game is 2 or 3 plays, really 2 or 3 calls, 2 or 3 plays away from being a completely different game, and you really can't do anything about it because Tennessee still just didn't play well. I mean, the biggest thing for me that I have trouble with is Alabama came into this game being one of the most penalized teams in the entire country. And they had 1 penalty on a false start for 5 yards. Like, bro.
And it was pre-snap, so they couldn't bail them out.
They couldn't bail them out. It was
so
just that to me was the thing that probably frustrated and killed my just the way I watched the rest of that game. That specific just sequence. We got 2 false starts, Omar Norman Lott, both times on defense, offsides, and then they pushed him back because they jumped off. They false started, and then you just don't do anything with it when you get the football back later in that drive, and it's just kind of like people don't understand how much momentum plays into different scenarios in a game. And last night was a momentum shift. Like that's, if you're talking about a momentum shift, that was it. What we saw last night, that was it. It was unbelievable. And I've just never been a part of something like that. Never. Not at that level. It was bad. Let's see what's going on in the chat right now, man. We got the boy Aaron Duck, maybe letting some freshmen get some run. I mean, quite possible, Aaron. Quite possible. Alpha Man, he says that he's with me. We can beat Missouri. I think we all know that we can beat Missouri. Will we beat Missouri is the greatest question. Nobody's worried about if you can. I think we all know that we can beat Missouri. Point blank, period. We can beat Missouri. But it's more about will we? Can Tennessee get over the hump, man? Can we win one on the road? We haven't won a road game since last year at Ole Miss, team. Don't count the Virginia game. Don't count Vanderbilt last year. That don't count. That's a home game for Tennessee. You know what I mean? We've got to kind of snap and clear after this Alabama loss and understand that Kentucky just is coming off of a bye week, and we got an opportunity to go to Kroger Field and not only beat them, but beat them down. And so just excited, just really excited to see what happens here in the next couple of weeks. Really this week, heading into UConn and then heading into Missouri. This stretch here is important for Tennessee as far as where they want to stand at the end of 2023. It's Kentucky week, though. We snap and clear. It's all about Kentucky. We will be back live tomorrow night, 7:15 Central, 8:15 Eastern, talking all about the Kentucky Wildcats. Who are they? Do we care? Nope. But we're going to talk about it. The boy Turn will be back with us. And, man, I'm just excited for this week. It's time to snap and clear. Game's over. Let's see what the heck we can do, man, with this week. It's time to just focus on this week, get past it, and continue to see what's the limit and what's the sky for, like, what's the ceiling for this 2023 football team. We love y'all, man. Thank you for the love and support. For my dog Dylan, who is not with me now, there he is. I'm gonna bring him back. There he is. What's up, dude?
My bad. My service dropped, bro.
You
I got
good?
this McDonald's Wi-Fi cooking, bro.
Hey, McDonald's Wi-Fi is real, bro. I was literally just telling them, man, we just gonna start talking Kentucky tomorrow. So I appreciate you for hopping on with me, man, and kind of holding the show down in Turn's absence. We got to do this more often. We got to get some more folks up in here, man, and get them on the show.
Sure.
It's fun chopping it up. But tomorrow we'll be live, man, for the Who is Kentucky. We know who they are. They're going to try to run the football, but we're going to dive into the nitty gritty about it. NC State transfer Devin Leary has been extremely underwhelming for Kentucky.
Trash.
We can't let that click. And so we'll be back tomorrow, man. 7:15 Central, 8:15 Eastern, live right here only on YouTube. Facebook people, we love you, but we will only be live on YouTube. So head over to YouTube, watch that show tomorrow night. We'll be live, and then we'll be back on Wednesday for the midweek chat, and then Friday for the One More Day episode. For my man Dylan, man, it's your boy Ruck in the building, and y'all already know what it is, man. It's straight up Tennessee, baby. We'll see you back tomorrow night. VOL, go Vols, go. We'll see you back tomorrow night, man, for the Who is Kentucky game.